The head of Israeli intelligence, David Barnea, is reportedly attending fresh truce talks in Qatar. Mossad chief is likely to hold talks with Qatari Prime Minister and Egyptian officials to fill in the remaining gaps in the Israel and Hamas ceasefire deal. This comes after Hamas abandoned key ceasefire demands following a series of setbacks. The talks will mark the first time that both Israel and Hamas would join indirect negotiations since the start of the holy month of Ramadan. Israel has adamantly ruled out a permanent ceasefire and insists it will resume its declared goal of destroying Hamas. A diplomat familiar with ceasefire negotiations says efforts are moving in a positive direction, but are not there yet. Meanwhile, opposition leader Yair Lapid reached the hostages' square. He later took to social media and said no deal will be an easy one, but a deal that brings the hostages home is worth the price and will receive our full backing. There is no victory without them returning. We can't move forward without them being home. Negotiators are still hopeful to attain a 6-week ceasefire in Gaza, so that the humanitarian aid enters the war-torn enclave. The main UN agency operating in Gaza has already warned that acute malnutrition is rising more quickly in the north of the enclave. UNRWA has said that 1 in 3 children under the age of 2 in northern Gaza is now acutely malnourished. 5 months into the Gaza war, Israeli Prime Minister has approved plans for the country's looming offensive in Rafah, where over 1 million Palestinians are situated. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, who is on a 2-day visit to the West Asia region, has also voiced concern about an assault on Rafah, saying that there was a danger which would result in many terrible civilian casualties.
Wir haben eine schwierige Situation. Es ist notwendig, dass jetzt Hilfe in größerem Umfang nach Gaza gelangt. Das wird ein Thema sein, über das ich auch zu sprechen habe. Wir machen uns Sorgen über den weiteren Fortgang der militärischen Entwicklung. Insbesondere ist die Gefahr, dass bei einer umfassenden
While Israel is all set to join peace talks in Qatar, my colleague Rahesha Sagal gets you the latest on developments in this war that is now into its 6th month. Take a look.
With the Israeli forces who attacked the Nusret refugee camp, killing at least 36 people, mostly women and children. Well, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry, the death toll in Gaza now stands at 31,553. Meanwhile, Hezbollah has claimed a 6th attack in its border war with Israel. According to the armed Lebanese group, the latest strike targeted an area near the border with rockets. According to Cyprus, a second ship loaded with aid for Gaza could depart soon, and according to U.S. charity World Central Kitchen, the vessel named Jennifer has been loaded with 240 tons of food, and this comes after an earlier vessel, which again went through the sea, reached Gaza and is on its way back. Moving on, there's rising pressure on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from within his own country, with public anger rising and calls for action for the release of the hostages, and also anti-government demonstrators who clashed with the police on Saturday evening. They're also demanding for fresh elections in Israel. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has approved plans for an attack on Rafah, a ground invasion on Rafah, where over 1.4 million displaced Palestinians have sought shelter.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.